Good afternoon. Thank you for taking a few moments with me in the Word. It's so good to be with you today. I missed you on Wednesday. Tuesday's generally our day off, but we had ministry on Tuesday, so we took our day off Wednesday. Was hoping to get with you, but time just got away from us. But being in ministry, you'll always have a variety of things that you need to handle. And one thing, because you're in ministry and you work with people, people are going to make mistakes. And in the kingdom of God, there is room for mistakes. God is bigger than any mistake that we make. But my pastor, he taught me here recently, he says, but Sherry says, when a mistake is made, it will need to be dealt with, because if it's not, it will just grow bigger. So there is room for mistakes, but then we have to God says he always makes a way of escape, and so we find his wisdom for that. And when someone makes a mistake, it's very important that they learn to own the mistake, because if we don't admit or own a mistake that we've made, we are bound to repeat it. Now here's what happens. Now we're dealing in ministry. Ministry is about people, and people have got so many things that they've experienced in their lifetime. And if they have trauma in their past, perhaps they had an overbearing parent, controlling parent, could have had a controlling pastor, whatever. One of two things can happen. One, they could be afraid to make a mistake, or in trying to overcome what they were subjected to in their past, if that's not been healed on the inside, one, they could be afraid to make a mistake, which would freeze them up, it would paralyze them. Or two, they could just say, I don't make mistakes, or they don't really own the mistake, or they might kind of acknowledge the mistake, but try to deflect it by pointing it at someone else. And I don't know which is the more difficult to deal with, because the one that freezes up, it's going to be hard to get them to move forward and make progress, because you're bound to make mistakes when you move forward. But the one who doesn't really own the mistake, it's kind of hard to guide them through past the mistake. And when you cannot along the way try to guide them out of the mistake and into the right direction, that initial mistake that they made is just going to snowball and become chaotic in the end. But this is what's important, that we can find a way to bring healing to their hearts. So one, they don't freeze up, and for another, that they will own the mistake and be able to be directed and guided past the mistake. What's important as ministers is relationship is very important. And sometimes you'll be the one that they blame. And sometimes it just doesn't matter. You don't have to be right. You don't have to prove that you're right. You just agape, and blessed is the peacemaker. The most important thing is that you find peace. But you yourself, make sure that you own your mistake. If there's any unresolved issues in your heart from your past, go after God, go after the Word, go after His presence, and let Him bring healing, so that one, you don't freeze up. You're not afraid to make a mistake. Number two, that you're able to own the mistake and be directed out of that mistake. And as a minister who's leading people, remember the situations that you have at hand and walk in the wisdom of God. I love you, and I look forward to being with you next week.